Welcome back to Outside Views, and bro, we need to talk. And we need to talk about Nigel Farage again, as I mentioned yesterday a bit, kind of the rock star of British politics. Because Nigel Farage is aiming for the top. And the central theme is that Nigel Farage, the leader of Reform UK, is positioning himself to become the next British Prime Minister. And he is using anti-migration rhetoric and populist tactics to energize his supporters, which obviously is working. And despite only having 4 seats in Parliament right now, his party celebrated its conference in Birmingham with pyrotechnics and merchandise, projecting the image of a major political force in Britain, which according to the polls they are. And even journalists note that Farage's political gift is his ability to attract media attention. So they call him a kind of a master of the media, because he gets significant support from the right wing and now also conservative media. They kind of have lost their faith in the Tory party. Looking forward to see how long Kami Badenoch will really be in charge there. But it is kind of a thing that even conservative media switch over, so they're changing sides. It's like a little bit, in case of some media, I think they really remind me of Gul Dukat, for the people who know Star Trek, when he switched sides from the Central Command to the Tapa Council government after the revolution there. Yeah, conservative media seem to be like that as well in Britain in cases. But people are feeling dissatisfied now with the state of the country and their own economic situation. And Farage is really using the same arguments now as he used for the Brexit campaign. Worked once, so why not try it again? And even because some say no, Brexit hasn't worked from his supporters, the majority says it anyway, but Farage personally isn't being blamed for it. I'll talk about that this week as well, because that's quite an interesting one. But Farage, as much as you dislike him, you have to give him that he has a talent, which is bad that it's on a person from that side. But Farage has a keen sense of public mood. 10 years ago, the issue was Brexit. And now it's illegal migration. Being as sometimes irrational as it is in the discussion, it is working, and we would say he can feel the room. Because he is using this completely false but working invasion narrative. Yeah, because you know about the hotels housing asylum seekers and their really bad things about SA and stuff like that. But Farage is using all that and bringing always the right words for the sentiment of the people. And that's a talent he has. And even if you are on the opposite side, please do not play down Farage's talents. You can say he's an idiot, whatever. Do not underestimate him by putting him in a place like that. You have to take him very seriously to understand what's happening there, and maybe to try to win over the people again. And Farage, we know that he's using slogans, he's not offering real solutions, but he promises to stop the boats within 2 weeks of taking power. Although he never provides any details on how he would do that. But this allows his opponents to be bogged down in complex specifics, while he just offers simple slogans. And the fact that illegal migration increased significantly after his Brexit is just ignored by his fans, because he shifted the view away from Brexit to migration. And he is not connecting them. And you know it, in a lot of countries that's happening, including mine. Slogans do work. Populism is working once again. As a German, I know especially when it worked very well the last time, although I wasn't alive then. But people didn't get more intelligent than at that time, to be honest, looking at some numbers here. And there's really a shift in the political discourse, And there's a lot of radical rhetoric nowadays. Because the political discourse on migration has changed significantly. It would have been impossible in the past to talk about deporting hundreds of thousands of people, but now it is. And at the same time, when we're looking at this, all these slogans will possibly bring Reform UK into power, as we see it with the AfD in Eastern Germany. But we know, despite their success in the polls, Reform UK is not ready to govern. The party only has a very few competent leaders, and they just release half-baked initiatives. So the Reform Party is kind of more like a house of cards. The party is currently a coalition of supporters with often contradictory interests on issues like taxes and healthcare. So what do you do with that? Because when they are in power, what way will they walk in these cases? On taxes, on healthcare. And when they are in power, this will really get a lot of trouble into the party. And the stakes for Britain are high at the moment. Yeah. Farage is at the moment, in the last polls I've seen, leading the polls by 9 points, I think. And we really should ask whether Farage can pull off his next stunt and become prime minister here. Because Farage only touches on the surface of major issues like problems with healthcare, inflation, infrastructure, all the things that were damaged by Brexit or not repaired, although promised during the Brexit campaign, and still hitting the common people, so to speak, the most. They're not mostly hit by migration, they're mostly hit by inflation and other things, and the rising cost of living. But this really is an advantage for Farage, of course, at the same time as also danger. And despite the next election likely being years away, Farage is hoping it will be in 2027. Usually it should be in 2029, and Starmer didn't call snap elections after all the incidents with Angela Rayner. So I still expect it to be in 2029. Farage will, however long it takes, still be touring through the country with his clear goal. He wants to become the next resident of 10 Downing Street. And I know here in Germany with the AfD, people say, oh yeah, let them govern, let them fail. And people are saying the same in Britain. I see that from time to time. Yeah, just let Farage, give him the chance to do that. If he can manage, it's great. If he fails, then we know that he was just a poser. If a party like that gets into government, be it the AfD in Germany or Reform UK in the UK, in 4 years here in Germany, if it's the general election, or the 5 years in Britain, you can do a lot of damage to a country's reputation, and so much more. So just saying, yeah, just give them a try. I would be really worried about people that have no plan for anything to get a try in the government of a country and to steer the country for 4 or 5 years. Just think about that one. But I really would like to know your opinion about Farage and his chances, and about his chances of successfully govern the country. So please write in the comments below the video. And if you want to see another video right now, the next one is right here in the end screen. I'll see you there. I'll be back.